Creativity is an ethic. It's not a medium or a specific discipline. It's an orientation to peace, meaning that all of us have permission to become ourselves. So this is an ethical center as much as an art center to me.
I'm an MFA playwright.
Founding director of the dance program.
I recently got into photography, but I also do film.
I'm a writer, I'm a translator,
instrument designer,
Director of playwriting,
choreographer, DJ.
Public Humanities Master's Program.
I'm a sculptor and I teach over in the visual art department.
I'm a second-year PhD student in
multimedia and electronic music experiments.
I teach hybrid art
that blurs or works with boundaries.
We're building a big curiosity cabinet.
People are already playing with projectors.
And I'll be performing live electronic music with a custom controller.
I work in video for the most part.
Set designers are often sculptors.
There's going to be like people bouncing around off the walls.
Audio parameters, video parameters.
Creating an architecture with my video.
Expanding the possibilities.
Fragments and manifestations of dreams.
Rubbing different things together.
All of our assumptions have been leveled.
A term that is sort of spoken about these days is post-media. So the creative practice isn't linked directly to, say, photography or painting, but sort of any media goes.
It is like less about that you are a photographer or you are a filmmaker. It's like you are an artist and then you use all these different things to show what you want to show or explore what you want to explore.
There's a lot of conversation between media and live performance, from my perspective anyway, and it's not one or the other, but they're in conversation.
To me, art has always been communal and very, very much about the relationships between people. I love the process of creation, and I love being able to evoke things in people.
You have a lot of disciplines thinking about similar things and talking about them and reacting to them with different lenses and from different perspectives.
What do people mean by collaboration and what do they mean by interdisciplinary?
It really is an investigation into the creative process, whatever that means to you, wherever you happen to be coming from, outside of the arts even.
When geology comes into contact with comparative literature, when literary arts comes into contact with environmental sciences, new possibilities appear, and those possibilities stretch who we are.
When you put students who each have something very different to offer into a room together to do something creative, they innately learn from each other and are also inspired by each other, and I think often come out with brand new interests that they didn't know that they had before.
It gives this kind of creative space to explore, to take risks, to fail. I mean, that kind of failure is important.
Because it's not just saying that we shouldn't be comfortable, but the emphasis on the idea of becoming, of again, leaning out of our comfort zones into possibilities.
It only happens in the doing it. And in the doing it, you stumble and stumble and stumble. And then you begin to see. It comes together with Richard Fishman having a vision and with Marty Granoff having a really muscular and passionate support. And the genius of President Ruth Simmons, seeing the possibilities of putting at the center of Brown's campus this, luminous pulsing node that's undefined, but emphasizing collaboration and creativity, seeing that those are the diastolic and systolic beats of Brown University.
And it's saying to the world, we trust the creative process. And if we put people together and make it open, great things are going to happen.
Brown students, they come to campus with incredible goals and aspirations, and they're just going to hit the ground running in this place.
The kind of community that will hopefully emerge out of this building will be one that will allow students and faculty to investigate those questions of how can they collaborate with people in different ways? How can they think about something in a way somebody else hasn't thought about it?
This building, and even the way it's built, invites a sort of leaning off of our habituations. We're leaning into something we don't know.
Students who couldn't tell you where a lot of art happens on this campus are suddenly asking what happens in that building.
The central metaphor, I guess, of the building is this kind of sheer wall in the middle that opens up space.
And there's just this complete transparency to the whole place that it's so inspiring, and it feels very much like
a small community.
It's a powerful metaphor to kind of open oneself up to other people.
Just imagining in the coming years how many different ways students are going to hang things on the walls and grow the walls and change the walls and do performances, and the space itself to me is very provocative.
I have been dreaming of a proper place to work in, and a place where artists will meet and collaborate and learn from each other.
That we're sitting here right now in this building, in this amazing studio with 30-foot ceilings is a pretty amazing thing, and it's exciting.
One thing that's really cool about this space in particular is anybody can just walk in and plug in. This is just a creative space.
It's impossible to imagine the crazy things that people are going to do in here, and the really powerful things too.
My hope is to never do anything that I would have done somewhere else, to constantly let the building talk to me, create new methodologies and new disciplines in this building, just because of the fact that we're all here in the same place.
What we want to keep alive inside the building as we use the spaces is the open, unknowable question of possibility.
Richard Fishman has been great about shaking the dust out of our ears and reminding us again and again about the future implied in the building. It's not meant to be a museum of anything. It's not meant to perpetuate anything. It's meant to move, move, move.
We don't really know where it's going to go, which is, to me, so exciting. This is a 21st century revolutionary building.
This place is a place that can inspire, because for every student that gets excited, that gets inspired about doing something with a passion, they leave this place and they affect a whole sphere around them. So this is an aggregator, a multiplier of opportunities for the world. To be part of that, that's an amazing gift.